Hello, and welcome back to the Bring a Trailer podcast. My name is Alex Porter. I am the operations director for the company. I am coming to you today along with a couple of my colleagues from the San Francisco headquarters of Bring a Trailer. We are doing another of our popular BAT at the Movies episodes, this time focused on Days of Thunder, the 1990 Tom Cruise NASCAR classic, also a Robert Duvall classic. I am joined on today's episode by Randy Nonnenberg, our president and co-founder, Beck Diefenbach, our white glove manager, and Tyler Greenblatt, who oversees our motorcycle team here at the site. We had a lot of fun researching, rewatching, and chatting about this movie. Hope you all enjoy the episode. As always, thanks to our producer, Chris Baxter, for putting this podcast episode together.
The Bring a Trailer podcast.
This aged pretty darn well, except for like one scene, which we'll get to. It's like we all know what we're talking about.
I'm curious what you did, yeah.
But other than that,
So many scenes.
I was going to say, there's a couple maybe.
Yeah, there's some waving Confederate flags. We can talk about that.
That's true.
Yeah, but anything you guys want to say before we go?
Yeah, Alex, I just want to tell you that this is the best damn podcast I ever seen or heard about.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Well, we're going to cast our minds back. Randy loves it. We're going to cast our minds back to 1990 to talk about Days of Thunder, a movie that we all love. Let me start here, Randy, with you. Let me read you a list of movies produced by Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, the minds behind this. You ready for this list?
Let's go.
84, Bev Hills Cop. 86, Top Gun. Days of Thunder, 90. Bev Hills Cop 2, 87. Bad Boys, 95. Crimson Tide, 95. And The Rock in 96.
Welcome to The Rock.
Is it the best duo of producers of all time for movies that we love?
That is a greatest hits right there. And they all have cars in them.
Yes.
All of those movies have Crimson Tide, though. I don't know if Crimson
Well,
Tide.
vehicles, nuclear subs.
Okay,
It's pretty
well,
good.
Yeah. But I mean, all of them have, the Ferrari Humvee scene in The Rock through San Francisco. I mean, these guys must have had some angle.
Totally.
I don't know if they've ever been quoted on their car take. But a lot of those movies are worth watching just for the background.
That's like the Randy Alex Film Festival.
Yeah. Let's go. And we're starting in with this one, which is terrific.
Which is a great one.
1990.
Which is a great one.
Great year.
Tell me your guys' history with it. I presume you're all veterans of this?
Well, everybody has to say their age in 1990.
Yes.
I was 13.
Did you see it in the theater?
I have. This is going to blow you away, and I don't know if it disqualifies me, so I almost don't want to say it. But this is my first time this week watching it all the way through.
Oh, you'd only seen
I
scenes
grew
or
up with
something?
Days of Thunder being on TV and like catching the last part or catching a race or the scene with him like running through the pits and it pauses at the end. I've seen that probably 50 times, right? But like sitting and watching it all the way through, I had never ever done. Never rented it, never streamed it, never done any of that sort of stuff. So anyway, I had seen like so many of the scenes, but then there were some that were brand new to me this week. So anyway, I'm stoked to.
But you and I grew up in the VHS era or when you were flipping through TV stage, like I didn't know there was the romance Take My Breath Away scene in Top Gun until I was like 12 because my mom
saw the unedited.
She VHS recorded it off TV and taken that part out.
Totally.
a lot of effort.
Anyway, so I was 13. How old were you guys when it came out?
I was 2.
2 years old.
2 in 1990.
5 years.
5 years old.
7 years old.
7 years old. Yeah. So I was the old man at 13 and I still didn't.
I thought for sure you were going to say you saw it in the theater.
No, dude, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. But no, it would have been a little raunchy to see, see in the theater at
But
13.
Tyler, shout out to Jack. He said that you're like word perfect in this. So is this like a lifetime project for you, the Days of Thunder rewatches?
Yeah, it is. I think I probably saw it for the first time when I was 13.
There you go.
So maybe we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. This is one of those movies that just every second you're like gripped. There's something going on that you just can't look away from. I quote it all the time too.
I love
Yes,
that.
we
I'm
know-
going to do that a few times.
We need to have a best quote competition. There's a lot. What about you, Beck?
First exposure to it was actually my godfather took me to Great America where they had like a documentary behind how they made it.
Oh.
They did it like in, I don't know, 92, 93 or something like that. But my godfather was confused. He thought it was a new ride. So we got there thinking it was going to be like the Top Gun ride. And then he was incredibly disappointed.
Wait,
it was
Top Gun or Days of Thunder?
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder
Because there's a Top Gun ride
I
at
see.
Great America. He thought it was going to be like that one.
I see.
So we then just sat in a regular movie theater and watched the documentary. But it was great. I think I probably May have seen it on TV as well. I don't recall if I rented it from like Blockbuster at some point, but I definitely, all the memories of all the different clips. I remember most of the racing. I had totally forgotten who is in this movie outside of Tom Cruise, which was a lot of names. Intro credits. Love a movie with intro credits.
So good. And the music comes right in. Those soaring guitars and everything right in.
And when like John C. Reilly's name shows up in the intro character, my wife doubled over laughing. She just had no idea what she was in for.
He's a serious character in this film, right? And after like the journey of all the other movies we've seen with him, you're kind of like, that dude was the upset son about his dad.
Your dad with Buddy Bretherton?
Yeah, totally. Right? Oh my gosh.
Is he the greatest actor in NASCAR-themed films ever, right? John C. Reilly.
He's done both ends of the spectrum.
Both. I don't know. There's many more.
He's the only one.
Check out.
It's a really interesting production story on this. I wonder if that was covered in the documentary or not, Beck, but went way over budget. Everyone was fighting. Did you guys read about this?
Yeah, it was slow. It was expensive. Like there was a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a box office smash.
No.
Right? So it didn't justify the drama.
$60 million budget, made 150 something in the end, but the budget went over. It was 2x what it was supposed to be. Our guys, Simpson and Bruckheimer, allegedly had a $400,000 gym built in a storefront and were having parties with Tone Loc and stuff. Did you read about that?
And this is in Florida.
Yes.
So they filmed the majority in Florida. I was trying to figure out on the scene where they're like racing the rental cars on the beach. I was like, is that like Pismo? Like where are they? Right?
It said Charlotte and Daytona was where most of it was filmed
down there, which I thought was cool.
Which is also kind of gone. Everything is like in Atlanta or Vancouver or whatever now. So seeing it in the places is cool. Just the shots of all the racetracks are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. They like show the race season go through. Yes. And then I saw online in a sort of Days of Thunder trivia wormhole that I checked out, the order of the races is different than it was in 91.
Oh,
interesting. And they were talking about like how the points were scored and how they got to Daytona and whatever else. You can go really deep.
You can go super deep. And I actually had to stop myself. I've already got like 5 pages of notes. I'll just say a couple other quick things on the background. It's our guy, Tony Scott, another list. Here's Tony Scott's run: Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Days of Thunder, Last Boy Scout, True Romance, Crimson Tide, Enemy of the State, Man on Fire, Unstoppable. Like incredible. Ridley Scott's brother.
He was with and then diverged from the other two.
Unstoppable's incredible. That was his last movie. It's Denzel and Chris Pine on a runaway train. If you've never seen that, that's a big recommendation to you guys and also to the community. Amazing movie.
Other Denzel movie with him, Man on Fire.
Man on Fire is unbelievable. That is a don't show it to a 13-year-old.
Oh, gosh. So like all of these are anything filmed 90 or before, pretty much.
But then written by Robert Towne, another guy with like an incredible resume. Chinatown, The Firm, Days of Thunder, Mission Impossible, the original one, Shampoo. And a co-writing credit from Cruise, which I don't totally know the story on.
Yes.
So, I mean, they're basically recreating Top Gun, right? This is the Top Gun team.
It was apparently Tom Cruise met Rick Hendrick via Paul Newman.
Oh, amazing.
And Tom Cruise came together with basically a general storyline, which then obviously got...
Was it just like Top Gun in cars, basically?
I mean, look at the opening. The opening is the opening scene to Top Gun. It even has, if you're watching for like the color striation of just the gradient filter, where it's like orange at the top and like blue at the bottom, it's the exact same approach to the opening of Top Gun.
Nothing wrong with that.
I wonder if people criticize that. People criticize that, but I that's probably why.
I mean, Cary Elwes, when he comes in and he's got the Iceman haircut, it's just like straight Iceman villain. It's so good. I actually love it.
Alex, you haven't mentioned Hans Zimmer.
Yes,
dude, I know.
Is he on your list of?
He is, and I didn't like. This is kind of early Zimmer, and the score is fantastic, and it does have Loggins-esque guitar solos in various
You
parts.
wouldn't have guessed that it was Zimmer just by listening to it, but again, opening credits so helpful.
I knew by the first note.
Really?
It's like, the synthesizer note, right? When it's the same thing as the F-14 nose coming into the frame, very strategically.
So good.
Same exact note.
Top Gun is not cars, really, but I'm already ready to do a Top Gun pod.
It's motorcycle. That's why
it is.
Tyler
And
likes it.
You still watch it anyway.
37% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I was deeply offended by. It does have a reassessment section on Wikipedia, which I love seeing that, right? Like it was so poorly reviewed that there's kind of a latter day reimagining, and there's a whole subsection under reassessment with Tarantino quotes. Tarantino likes it.
Yes,
a lot of people
I saw
like
that.
And I know it's not perfect, but it's not 37%. Come on.
I don't know who's rating these things. It's like one of the best movies ever made.
It's a 10 out of 10 in my book.
Yes. has.
Did any of you guys go deep on Cold Trickle, the guys he's based on?
Yes.
Okay, great. Talk to me about that a little bit. It's fascinating. Did you know those names?
Yes. Well, there's a lot going on, right? There's the sponsors of the cars. There's Chevy. There's Hendrick. There's Dick Trickle, R.I.P. But he, is just an icon of NASCAR history, smoking cigs in the car. The whole
cigarette lighter in the car.
Cigarette in the car to light up his Winston branded cigs on the dash of his race car during yellow laps. I went watch some vids. I watched some vids of that and I was like, come on, not to mention his name. And then there's a whole bunch of racers and then different people in the movie. Nobody explicitly takes the name of people, but I was actually surprised that Randy Quaid's character, the team owner, City Chevrolet.
Did you see that's a real place?
It's a real place and it was owned by Hendrick, but they're trying to say he was modeled after Hendrick, but Randy Quaid's such a doofus.
No, it's not.
If I was Rick Hendrick, I'd be like, dude, can you pick a Harrison Ford or something? You know what I mean? It's he's kind of always the same character he is in the Vacation movie. And you're just kind of come on, dude. So
I don't see Russ doing that. NASCAR doesn't see Russ doing that.
There's some crossover, right? That there's an RV. But anyway, I thought that was a little bit different. But then when they talk about the different drivers, the villain driver and Cruz, and then the other driver whose name you're going to
Jeff Bodine is one of the big guys, and he had this big rivalry with Earnhardt, and that's apparently where a lot of the stuff comes, including being forced to drive to dinner together. That was a real thing that France made them do because they were trading paint so much. That's such a great monologue that Fred Thompson gives. That is he's better as France than
he was a good France. I was okay with him as France. But yeah, Randy Quaid's in the room and you're just kind of he's now befuddled,
I know.
But no, there were references in the pit lane, the other cars, the people driving the other cars, and there's a lot of different overlap to other drivers.
The other guy he's supposedly based on is Tim Richmond, who's a name I knew, but I didn't know that much about him. He's an IndyCar driver and
L.A.
California.
Okay, are we going to talk about that whole exchange? Because that's a great exchange.
One of the best lines in the movie.
Well, let me frame it around whether you think Cruz is a credible racer.
Well, he's is he a Yankee? He's from California.
If you're from California, you're not a Yankee. You're not really anything.
You're not really. Right.
No. And then the follow-up line, and he's like, "Well, you said it."
Yeah.
It was a record scratch moment.
Totally.
Anyway.
The part I love.
A lot of us are from California, so we shrugged that off.
He says Eagle Rock, and he goes, "That's up near Charlottesville or something." I love that line. So the Cruise connection to Newman is interesting because we sold a Tom Cruise race car on the site, and he was obviously racing around a little bit, and so obviously was Paul Newman.
A Z.
It's a 280Z or something. Yeah, something like that, or 300.
Blue and red livery.
Right. Is that where that all comes from? He was driving, or what's the connection there?
Not sure. Just he got the connection from Paul Newman over to Rick Hendrick, and then he made up the story, the initial part of it, took it to Jerry Bruckheimer. And then that's why he still has the story credit in the opening of the movie, which was kind of a shock to me as well.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Whether he's believable or not in that opening scene, we know that T. Cruz is not only did he race, but they put him in David Coulthard's F1 car one time and he was quick.
Yes. He does all his own stunts.
Totally. And he has the famous Top Gear lap where he almost rolls the car because he's so aggressive.
But he doesn't show up at freaking Daytona test day and you're 2 seconds faster than the guy who just won the race.
Someone else's car.
Some of it is okay, we were inverted. I get it. Right. But it's come on.
We should talk about that because there's a whole kind of complaint section about the stupidest racing pieces. Let me frame it this way. Are you guys, I know, Randy, you're probably the most out of all of us. Are you guys big NASCAR fans? Have you gone to a NASCAR race? What's your background with NASCAR?
My family, come from a NASCAR family. My grandfather worked a couple pit races at
come on now.
At the Milwaukee Mile. In the 50s and 60s with some drivers.
Fantastic.
Back in the Winston Sigs on the dash days. So yeah, I was always loved it. I got honestly a little bit out of it in modern times with the point scoring system. I kind of liked having Daytona as just the Super Bowl and then every other race is just for fun.
But you grew up watching it.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
I haven't watched it in so long. I've gotten a little bit more into Formula One, unfortunately.
Oh gosh. Well, there's movies about that too. Did you
another spec series?
Totally. Yeah. Right. Stock cars are all the same. We need to talk about
a stock car.
We need to talk about stock cars being confused about what Indy car is, and especially they're seem to be confused about sprint car racing, and I'm like, what? Everyone's intermixing in those worlds.
They were actually running wheel and open wheel series. Wasn't even either.
One of those open wheel deals. Have you gone to a NASCAR race, any of you?
I haven't.
Never.
Nope, never.
Never been. A couple Indy cars, but that's it. No.
I went to a Bush League.
I've been to NHRA, which I feel like is hopscotching over NASCAR to even crazier. So I needed to make that middle stop on the train and get off at the Brickyard or wherever.
How about any oval tracks? You guys see any oval track racing, sprints or anything?
Never in person.
My uncle used to race, not sprints, but late model modifieds on dirt to half mile, third mile circle tracks. But I did actually see, what's the league right under whatever the Cup league is? I saw that one at Road America once. So
you mean stock cars?
Yeah.
Oh,
stock cars. And so they run road courses every so often. And I happened to be in Wisconsin when they were running at Road America. So I got to see that. That was insane watching the cars turn right.
Oh, it's amazing. I love watching them on road. I'm surprised you guys have never gone to
Sonoma. Sonoma's been there forever, and Beck and I both could have gone in the early 90s or whatever to NASCAR races when it would have been this good stuff.
It would have been these cars.
I know. And every year you wait is a mistake because it always, you feel like it gets worse, not better, right? So you're like, oh, I could have been there in the early days.
I mean, we need to maybe make a trip to go see. So I've seen lots of oval track racing in like small venues, Altereds, and I've seen some sprint cars. I went to the Little 500. I've gone to the Indy 500, and I've seen NASCAR and IndyCar at Sonoma, but I've never been to. I've driven on super speedways, like open track days and stuff, but I've never seen an actual NASCAR super speedway event in person live. So maybe we need to do that.
Maybe we need to go.
Yeah, I think so. For me personally, it helps that I'm not a NASCAR expert navigate some of the problems here because I'm just like, I'm able to suspend.
If you know everything about NASCAR, this movie probably infuriates you, right? But that's why I think we all like it.
I think to your point about them making a big deal about 2 seconds, I think if they used the real times, most people would have no idea why that's good. If you were to say he was 0.2 of a second faster, sure, people would be like, why is that a big deal? It doesn't sound very good.
I don't know how much they said he was faster. I was just throwing that out there. I just think it's absurd that he cruises down pit lane on his Harley and jumps in the car and is like, trust me.
He's never been in a NASCAR. He's faster than Rowdy Burns, who I think we're supposed to believe is the defending champion, right? Like he's the Winston Cup champion from the year before.
At least rumor in one of those things I read that they tried to get Earnhardt Sr. to be involved and be that other person and stuff. But anyway, obviously they chose
that is supposed to be Earnhardt.
I mean, who won it last year and who's in the Chevy and the Exxon livery and all the stuff.
Yep.
Some of it aligns with Earnhardt, some of it doesn't. But I think it's kind of interesting to feed him in. I mean, he was in his sort of heyday at that point.
Totally. Not only is he under the time, they go, ooh, you would have taken pole here. So his first time ever in a stock car, he would have taken pole at the track that he's on.
And he didn't even know how to describe the setup.
That's right.
Right? We're jumping the gun a little bit, but when they eventually get to the point where Tom Cruise admits that he can't talk the language of race cars, and there's sort of this quiet moment where he's about to try and divulge that information, there was this hot moment of how dumb is he really supposed to be? How can he do this?
They told me to get in and drive, and I could drive.
So I have to say, I could totally sympathize with him on that. Working here with all you guys, I know a lot about cars in the grand scheme of things, but with working with you guys and a lot of our colleagues here, I find myself saying, I don't know much about cars a lot. I feel like Tom Cruise.
Try sitting next to Randy for 10 years.
That was a funny moment. That was a funny moment of all the scenes in the movie when he has that
the wedge,
faux vulnerable moment about how I'm like a dummy and I'm insecure. I was like, whoa, that was weird, right?
You missed that one on all your TV watches?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I had ever seen that. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's how he's going to play this. But they had to build the bond. And are we going to talk Robert Duvall or not?
Let's do it.
Still alive. Robert Duvall is 95.
This is our
still around.
Third BAT at the movies, and 2 of them have had Robert Duvall. So he's already been in 2 of our 3 movies.
Okay, so you guys already maybe hashed out.
No, we should talk about him.
But I mean,
so I rewatched this again last night with my wife, as I was telling you guys, and this time around, the big takeaway for me was Duvall. Duvall's the best part of the movie, I think, and he actually does seem. I don't know. He seems like a salty, I knew car guys like that, cranky old, that Purolator hat.
The Purolator hat the whole time, the American flag hat. Amazing. All of them are terrific. I love the whole thing, the barn with the ramps going in and then dusty template and all
him
this stuff.
talking to the chassis about how he's having to form it into the race car. Had a really strong Gone in 60 Seconds kind of vibe. So when he was working that team,
the people that did the movie Cars like watched this 100 times. Like, I mean, they were thinking about this for sure.
And for those of you who aren't following all of the BAT at the movies, the last movie we saw Robert Duvall in was Bullet.
Yes.
When he was the cab driver in the opening scene.
What is that? 22 years earlier than this, right?
68, yes, correct.
Right?
Yeah, and he was in it for what, maybe 10 seconds?
He's in it a little more than
he was
in
a
it a couple times.
He's in the Galaxy, right?
Oh,
He's the cab driver.
Yes, correct.
4-door Galaxy. Gold. I forget what color.
Oh, Randy. Randy, you're pulling that right out. That's exactly right. All of that is correct.
Yep.
I was thinking about cars and planes and all the mold of the cranky old mentor guy. And this is maybe my favorite cranky mentor. Drinking moonshine.
Yeah, drinking weird stuff and always drinking it. I mean, he always has a clear glass of something floating.
Moonshine and Bud Heavy is what's being inspired in the IV.
There were some good Bud Heavies, but yeah.
What an accent. So many quotes I think about from him all the time from this. The eating ice cream thing. We're too busy reading ice cream.
That's allegedly a real Rick Hendrick legend.
Found that out too.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
Amazing part.
But in that first race with Robert Duvall on the radio headset with Tom Cruise, and it basically just immediately turns into bumper cars. Another great Robert Duvall line of "Rubbing son is racing."
Totally, Rubbin's racing
is a great one, and it was aggressive hitting.
Yeah,
it is not.
That's another part that's a little tough sometimes.
A little much. They're like full accidents as they go.
Yeah.
A lot of
knocking someone's bumper loose on purpose. I mean, you both get black flagged for that.
Totally. Tires is what wins races is probably the quote I think about the most from this whole thing.
There you go.
Right?
In general, though, those racing scenes are, despite the inaccuracies and sort of the egregious take on like how they would hit each other, they're shot beautiful.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Just amazing. The camera is so low to the ground and they are just streamed across. They shot it during, I'm not sure if it was like before races or whatnot, but there's obviously thousands of people in the stands for a lot of these things. I know they had to do some reshoots, which is why I think in the big accident scene, there's no fans in the background. They shot it like in a corner of the track. You couldn't see stands. But for a majority of it, like you really feel like you're there and it's just shot in a fantastic way.
And honestly, the weekend coverage of NASCAR used to be that good.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you'd watch it and it'd be that sound of the pack going past the camera
so good.
on ABC Sports or whatever before it turned into Fox or CBS or whoever fought over it after that. I mean, that's why you'd watch NASCAR Super Speedway. That's why you'd watch Talladega and that's why you'd watch Daytona, because the sound of them coming by and the low camera on the wall and all that stuff. And they captured that energy. I was surprised it seems like they went out of their way to make it seem like gritty and dirty. Like the cars were all like covered with black.
And their face.
And faces.
Like
I was like, it's not like
black all over the mouth.
Yeah. And I was like, this is supposed to be present day, like 90s. I was like, maybe that was kind of happened by the 90s, but it kind of seemed like it was a different era or something. Or they were going, they didn't want it to be too shiny or something. Like why they were doing that.
So again, this is the Top Gun team, and I don't know if you noticed, there's a lot of sweat, like there is in Top Gun, which actually
cigars.
Oh my god!
Yeah, right. Cigars.
Senior Fred Thompson,
all of it.
The sweating drink and
Principal
ripping
Skinner.
cigs. Oh my god!
All of that.
I actually like all of that, and it does make me wonder. And this is where my knowledge fails me. It does feel like NASCAR's a little smaller, it's different than it is now. Yes, correct.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very Southern Confederate flag right at the beginning. They get a Stars and Stripe in first, but there's a Stars and Bars very shortly thereafter.
When I was watching this with my wife, she was confused when they don't understand the open wheel series that Tom Cruise is coming from. And I tried to sort of explain, like, well, I think that's what they're trying to lay into is that this is a Southern sport at this time. Or at least it was some point before that.
Sprint cars in the South, right? Like they're all running on dirt tracks in the South too, right? So I found that weird. But the Yankee thing, right? Like he's a Yankee, right?
Well, he's nothing, right?
Oh, right.
Sorry.
But there was concern that he must be from above the Mason.
And that's Rowdy's crew chief, and I think he's ripping a cig while he's expressing concern, which is amazing.
Yeah.
We need to have a whole thing on liveries. In fact, we could do that now if you want, although I kind of want to go through the scenes first.
Let's keep going chronologically.
Yeah, let's go chronologically. But I will say everything is tobacco, booze, and oil. That's like all it is. It's tobacco, booze, and oil, which I love.
And that's what propped up the series for 60 years.
Yeah,
and now oil's still allowed.
Right. But no cigs.
So tobacco's back. but in different ways.
Well, like vaping or something?
Just sort of, and sort of recently.
Like the Zen
Heavies?
There's no skull car anymore, right?
The Skull Bandit car.
Yeah.
That car's gone.
But it's not the Winston Cup.
Oh my God.
That car hasn't been gone for that long, though.
I know. What was it? 05, 06? Yeah.
We've had a lot of skull on BAT. We've had a fair amount of skull.
Oh, yeah. Right. I've seen skull cars on
Skull NASCAR livery. Be more specific. We've had a lot of skull on BAT. I was like, have we?
Yeah, we have. You know we
After
have.
hours.
In
Okay.
BAT HQ.
Hacking.
Totally.
Just
totally.
packing
All right.
after work.
All right.
My dip.
Whoops. The
Um,
tobacco board is
totally.
calling us.
Totally.
You ever gone to BAT.com?
Philip Morris,
Sorry.
CEO
Yeah.
Philip Morris.
Totally. Somebody's calling. I'm going to have to take this.
But you know what BAT.com is?
British American Tobacco.
There it is.
Yeah, look out. We were a
Really?
Formula One
I didn't
team
know
once.
that. Oh, that's the Formula One team. That's
We
interesting.
do sell a lot of John Player Nortons, too.
I know.
One of my favorite Norton liveries.
Cigs and booze
Anyway,
propped up
so-
cars in general. For
Those were all over the place, but he was all City Chevrolet. That's all he had at the beginning, right? And then the Mellow Yellow sponsorship comes much later.
Much
Way
later,
odd.
Yes.
Yep.
That gets all the pictures and all the press and all the everything, and that's like right at the end.
very
That's,
end.
that's Rowdy's car at the end.
Yes.
And then he hands it over.
Correct.
So
Right.
where'd you get the engine from?
That's
Yeah,
right.
great.
That's what my boys were pushing. They were pushing the engine. I gave them that
I own that
engine.
car.
So great.
But his second sponsor is Superflow,
Yes.
which at the time when I watched this with my wife and she didn't know what that was.
Oh,
she was
yeah.
like, is this some kind of like ladies product or
yeah.
something?
Or for like prostates or something.
That was her take.
Well, that's what's really cheap, right? Like medicine is everywhere now, right? The drug industry.
Mark Martin is the classic.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The Viagra car that ran for years and years.
Superflow today would be for your prostate, not for not
For your filter
yeah,
system.
not for your filtering system. Well, it's a different kind of filtering system.
The Exxon car.
The
that
Exxon
he
car
drove,
is so sick.
right?
I have a huge list of liveries. Let's do liveries, and we can go to Beck's plot corner after that. You
Sure
can tell
thing.
us about Buddy Brotherton.
The King, there was a cameo moment where they showed Richard Petty.
Yes,
in the-
correct. Yeah.
Not racing, but in the pits or something, right? And then did they show Kyle Petty or something spinning out in a 43 car? I forget if an STP car spun.
There's definitely some STP. I
Is the
didn't.
King on track in 90?
Yeah, he's the king.
I know he is.
Could
I
be.
know he is.
In Tyler's brain, he's always on
I know
track.
he is.
My favorite sneaky livery, it's in that amazing opening scene, is there's a Snickers car, and that is
Ooh.
my favorite. Did you catch that?
I did not.
It's in that opening scene, and I freaking love it. Okay,
Petty's final race was 92. So
Oh, sick.
he was in there as a driver. I thought they showed him with the
He
hat
was
on
spun out.
a crisp white shirt, no driving suit. So I thought he was like a team guy by then with Kyle driving,
Yeah.
but he was allegedly supposed to be on the track. Did they announce it? Yeah,
Yeah,
did they
he
announce he
spun
just
out.
spun Richard
I think-
Petty, blah, blah, blah?
Rowdy spun him out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in the
After?
right at the one of the first races, right?
Yeah.
That they show. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
In a 43 Pontiac.
Yes,
You
that's
remember the one when they're all coming at you in the pack and the pace car is like a 90
Oh, it's a Pontiac.
Pontiac Grand Prix.
But it's like the GTP, whatever
version with the lights on it and
Yes.
Pontiac across the windshield. And I was just like, that moment was so good.
That's
I
the
was
one with the wild digital dash and stuff.
all
and
the
everything.
buttons on the
uh-huh.
all the stuff, but the fact that it was out front and then the race cars behind it were the
Yes.
Pontiacs that
And
are
then they
supposed to
show
look like it.
They show it duck into the
Dives.
yes,
No, it
huh?
dives. Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, that was great.
Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
so good. A couple other liveries worth mentioning. The Tide livery in
Tide
this
gotta
is
be there.
excellent.
Yep. Two, Waltrip. Who was it in 90?
Kodiak. My wife noticed that one and really liked it. The Kodiak livery.
The Skull competitor, of course.
There's Sitgo, really good.
Gotta have Sitco.
Yep. My actually secretly other favorite. I really like the City Chevrolet livery. I think
Sure.
it looks really good.
It does.
There's a part where Duvall is wearing a gray, it looks like the BAT jacket, and it says City Chevrolet with the bow tie. And like that's my number one thing I would have from this is that gray. They're up in the bleachers and he's like coaching Cole.
Did
And
you
he's
look
wear-
for merch after this?
No,
Because people are making it. You can go to the Hendrick Motorsports website
and get City
and
Chevrolet.
they have City Chevrolet t-shirts.
Man. He's also
Missed,
got
missed
the
opportunity.
black hat with the neon.
All the neon, the neon City Chevrolet is really
We need
good.
BAT
It's
stuff
really
like
good.
that.
Okay.
BAT, City
Need a
Chevrolet.
bow tie? I don't know if we can put it.
No,
in a
we
bow
can't do the
tie.
bow tie, but we could do black with neon green
Yes, we
BAT.
can. Yes, we can.
Also noticing the flame suits. There's a really good Exxon flame suit. There's really good STP flame suit. A lot of the helmets are fantastic. I'm
The
ready for
trucks,
all
they
the
keep
merch.
showing the shots of the trucks, and then a few good ones in the pits, right, where they're in pit garages and the cars are and the car's leaking or whatever, whenever that one was, right? Like there's 6 or 7 cars and they've got hoods up.
Yes. Even though they've got haulers and stuff, though, it still feels a little more homespun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. I don't know if it's still like that.
Haulers,
some of it is.
I mean, they were staff. If you saw the scene when they were all drinking shine after the first win, I mean, there couldn't have been a whole lot more room in that hauler.
That's
for a car.
Perfect way to get us
They were
back
also
into the plot.
driving down the road in the back of a semi-trailer. Like, is that real?
You're forgetting this is like the South in the 90s.
I mean, it's a perfect way back into the plot. I love that scene when they're drinking moonshine. Cruz has got the hat over his head and he's talking about his dad having lost him his ride and all that stuff. And that's when the inappropriate scene happens with the highway patrol. But I love them riding in the hauler. Like the dragster that my buddy owned that I used to go, they had like a 36-foot triple axle trailer and the front was like a couch and a little whole area.
I never thought of that.
And we'd ride in the back. We'd ride in the back when they were towing it.
Wall in motion.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right, Beck, where do we go from there?
Well, that's a great segue back into, at this point, Cole Trickle has had his first win, right? And so they're celebrating. They're in the RV.
He goes from not being able to win anything to first
all of a sudden he wins.
Only because of the tires.
But they talked about it like it was deep into the season, though, right? They didn't say he like came out and won the first race or whatever, right? Didn't they say
he's doing terribly at first?
So he's struggling at first. He's struggling for several races because the whole rubbing other cars he's struggling with, and he doesn't have the fortitude to get through that apparently, and that's when he gets the special set of matched tires that Robert Duvall says these tires are set for that corner, and then he pushes through, and it's just there's nothing special about that set of tires, but it gives him the confidence to go, and he actually wins the race, which then leads to the incident in the RV, which is there's a cringe moment of a woman dressed as a highway patrol officer who then has to pat down Tom Cruise in an inappropriate manner, which then turns out to be a big joke and a big laugh, but it leads to a sort of a bookended scene later on.
Callback. Yes, yeah.
When he's in the hospital, which is actually, when you get to that scene when he's with Nicole Kidman and he thinks that Nicole Kidman, who's supposed to be his doctor, has also possibly been hired to grope him. You start to realize, okay, I see why they. It wasn't totally just gratuitous at the beginning.
That's my real doctor. I wouldn't joke about that, Cole. I love that. But
plus, I mean, all his guys are there. I mean, you can just see in his mind on drugs, I'm sure, from his surgery, of course, just expecting like, all right, these guys are all here. They're just gonna start laughing at me.
Well, if you remember
it's Nicole Kidman at 23 years old, like, what are you thinking?
In the hospital scene, it's
brain
so
surgeon.
good.
Nicole surgeon.
23-year-old brain surgeon. Right.
She's so young.
She's so young.
So yes, so good moment to start talking about, because there's a big crash. Obviously, Cole gets in a big crash. He gets
right in the sheriff's helicopter.
Hold on, real quick. For people who think this is spoilers, I loved your remarks earlier. I was like, are we spoiling it? And you're like, if the movie was made 37 years ago or whatever it was done, it's too late. Statute of limitations on spoiler alert is...
If you've made it this far in the pod and you haven't listened to the movie, stop. Go back.
Go watch the
Days of Thunder. I promise you will enjoy 2 hours of fun and then come back and listen.
So the big crash was filmed, I believe, on an airport, because it was the only place they could roll the cars and flip them before they needed to on a runway. But then they helicopter evac the 2 drivers. That's where Nicole Kidman is first introduced, which I forgot it was that late into the movie. It makes sense because of who her character is, but I always thought of this movie as Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise.
It's almost halfway through, something like that?
Yeah, it's pretty far along. And probably my favorite scene of the hospital is the parking lot where he chases her to see all the cars.
That is the car scene. And I've got the picture if you want to discuss.
She's in a white E30 coupe.
Yeah. Do we want to quiz without looking at the photo, or do we want to like...
So she's definitely in an IS. It's got a lip spoiler on the trunk.
That's right.
So that's a very strong one.
Which is, by the way, exactly what a doctor would drive.
I think of that time for sure. In 1990, sure. And it's got small bumpers, so
it would have been a convertible. That's the only.
Well, there is an E30 Cabrio.
It should have been a convertible.
There is an E30 Cabrio in the parking lot. There's also a Honda Accord, a W124, and do you know what that 928 is?
There is it's either a Strosek or a Gambala.
It is a Strosek.
Is that Don Simpson's car?
It's an extra. It's just like, oh, well, you mean, people off screen.
I'm just guessing if it's the producer's
But I mean, is that what they were rolling around in Miami in? Oh, we
have had a 920S Strosek.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that one. My head was going to explode, but we've had a similar one, right?
Had a similar one on the site not that long ago, back in September. Sold for $41K.
But I saw that and I thought of all of you, because I was like, okay, this is the scene we have to talk about, because there's all the cars are German. There's a 560 SL, there's a 300E, there's the BMW, there's a Porsche, there's her BMW. It's like German.
But that's like what a doctor's parking lot would like. I actually think it's like very
it's pretty
correct.
real. There could have been a caddy. There could have been a.
But it makes me wonder if that's outside of Memorial Hospital's real. Like that's their real parking lot because that's exactly what all the surgeons would be driving. No, I know.
This is so staged.
This was also like the first real juxtaposition to all of the Americana we've seen so far.
Yes, that's right.
Which is why it really struck me in the parking lot where Nicole Kidman's walking to her E30. Tom Cruise chases after her to try and apologize and try to ask her out. But that shot of all of those cars, which are cars we've never seen before and we're never going to see again. It's purely staged for that scene. We've had a few of those are kind of like bread and butter BAT cars too. Like we all have experiences with W1. I've owned a W124. I've owned an E30. Like I grew up in those as well. I know you did as well, Alex.
Yeah, numerous W124s.
Nobody here can claim a Strosek 928 automatic pearl white though. Can we? No. I could tell that car's an automatic just by looking at it from here.
100%. Of course. I'm 99% confident it is it's got to be done.
Also,
car. I'm just assuming.
Yeah, weird moment. I like picking out inconsistencies. I don't know if you noticed. She walks up to the E30 and she unlocks the door by the door cylinder, puts her key in it. She walks up to it. It's already unlocked. And she goes and puts the key into it. I was like, I wonder how many takes they took to get in and out, but she left it unlocked and then she went to unlock it. And I was like, that's a weird moment, right? Like you wouldn't have done that, but she was on screen and somebody told her you have to go up and unlock your car. Right? But then she drove off and I think it's a 5-speed car because of the way when she pulls away, it kind of like pulls away like a stick shift.
I bet it is.
I think it's either 325 or 318.
I don't know if you guys. She went a little method. She like studied with doctors and stuff. My wife, who's the daughter of a doctor, found her quite credible, surprisingly, because I was kind of making jokes about her. She's 23, but she does the exams of the guys and stuff, and she is relatively believable. Just in general, the movie is both she and Tom Cruise are so good looking, but it is like way less fake. The people look more real in this, even the beautiful people. They're sweating. She's not wearing that much makeup. I prefer it. Movies have gotten weird and people have gotten weird looking in movies. And I liked how real the people look, even though they're movie stars and good looking, but the teeth aren't perfect and there's not a ton of makeup and it's a little sweaty. I loved it.
It's also that weird generational thing where young people from longer ago look older than they were. Like you see photos of people in, their teens and 20s, maybe a generation or two ago, you think like, how is that person only 20 years old? They look so much older. And that's how I felt exactly for Nicole Kidman. I was just sort of shocked. Nowadays, I can't imagine a 23-year-old Nicole Kidman would have looked anything like that.
How old was Cruise?
He's about 30, I think.
Is that right?
Like that?
Right, because he was 26 for Top Gun.
Yeah.
So it was 4 years later.
Can I point out one other crazy car? I don't know if any of you guys caught this. I've seen this movie 20 times and mostly in chunks like you, Randy, but I've watched it through at least 5 or 6 times in my life. Never saw this till last night. There is a Monte Carlo Aero Coupe outside of Duvall's barn in the beginning. Do you even know what those are? They're a NASCAR homologation special. They're a Monte Carlo, but they have a fastback glass on them to homologate a
kind of like a Riviera style kind of fastback.
And that was only like a 2-year-old car. There's a blue one sitting outside his barn where he builds the cars in the hayloft, which is so interesting.
Didn't Oldsmobile have one? Or is that it?
I think they're Monte Carlo. We've listed them before.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know about them until I worked at BAT. Oh, dude. Randy's got the...
I just found the photo of the Pontiac.
Is it a GXP?
Car. Look at the NASCAR sticker on the front bumper, Pontiac across the glass. That's unreal.
Wider is better.
That is for real. A Bud, Exxon, Bud, Kodak. We didn't talk about Kodak livery. Crisco.
Oh, yes. My wife, who went to school in Nashville, she's like, it's all the Southern hits, including Crisco.
Alex, you're talking about your wife coming from a doctor family and how accurate it was. Something that my wife and I were just confused by. And again, movie magic here, but like when it's time to give Tom Cruise his exam, it's like, we got to put the gown on. We got to put the white doctor's outfit on. We got to like turn the lights off. We've got to have him sit on the counter. Rowdy's like about to die.
I know.
And she's doing it in a turtleneck.
I know.
So it's like, why go through the whole process?
Also, she's like kind of on a date with him when she's examining him, which seems like a conflict. Like that's like
a little bit of a conflict.
The Hippocratic Oath is not necessarily being followed. And she's like, you're good to race.
But in that testing, and they get the recovery from the hospital. She examines them. They think they both are about to get cleared. They have to go to lunch or dinner, whatever it is. And that's when you bring up the scene that you mentioned earlier where they're forced to take the same rental car. together.
Yes.
And the car that they're in.
Oh, dude, I was going to Taurus.
So there's one of them is a first gen Ford Taurus. The other one is, I think, a Chevy Lumina Beretta.
Front wheel drive, I think.
Yes.
The other one. Well, I guess so is the Taurus.
And that turns into full bumper cars.
Dude.
And
when they're revving and he gives him the finger, it's so good.
But, I mean, you're missing the wheelchair race that came before that.
I was going to ask favorite race, and those are actually, that's my number 1 and 2. It's wheelchair race and rental car race.
Oh, the wheelchair. I forgot how, for some reason, having seen the movie for years and years and years, but years ago, I had it in my head that the wheelchair race was just kind of a quick, funny thing.
No.
It's a serious racing scene. I mean, they're wheelchair racing
at each other.
Yeah. And bumping. I mean, just a wonder. One of my favorite.
I thought that scene was absurd.
I love it.
Do we love that scene?
I love it.
Imagination.
What I didn't notice till last night is
it was funny.
Cruz is like, I don't want to be next to this guy. And the guy pushing him leans down. He's like, you got to talk to the nurse if you want drugs. Did you notice that? I watched it with.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know. It's so weird. You can tell, as much as I love this movie, you can tell that the director, the producers, and the writer were all fighting with each other, and they kind of stitched a lot of it together. You know what I mean? They filmed a bunch of rad scenes, and then when they're editing it, they're like, can we make a movie out of this? We can make a movie out of this.
The thrashed rental cars.
With the valets staring at them. And by the way, that whole scene, that's my favorite scene in the movie, is the rental car race, and then it's intercut with Fred Thompson cooling his heels angrily with Quaid checking his watch
at lunch.
And then they also become friends at that point, right? Too close to call?
Perfect.
I believe it was the radiator.
What won it, Cole?
That's right. And he bites the celery. It's so good. I love that whole scene. The other scene that's also Fred Thompson, Senator Fred Thompson later, and also in Red October, one of my favorite movies, playing a version of France Sr., is when they're doing the brain scan on him first, and he's like not facing the camera, and they ask Nicole Kidman to leave, and he like gives them the whole spiel about the Japanese inspection. I can take your race cars apart for 300 laps. Don't ever swap paint again. I love that monologue. That's why you bring Fred Thompson in. It's those 2 scenes. I think that's all he's in, is those 2 scenes.
That's all you need. He made such a huge part of the movie. You were scared for these guys. You were like, yeah, let's just become friends and go on with our lives.
He does the same thing in Red October. Russians don't take a dump without a plan, son. You remember that part? It's so good.
But after the race in the rental cars, they then end up making peace, right? That's how basically it's the plot point to reconnect these 2 drivers and make them friends, and make them work together, which is important because eventually the other drivers are going to start having residual issues from the accident.
Yes.
We need Tom Cruise.
We also had a villain introduction too. New villain.
Yes,
as first villain becomes
What
friend.
is that guy in?
Cary Elwes famously is
The Princess
Bride. He's that. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yes.
By the way,
plays the same role again.
That's the movie.
And he is British, but plays Americans a lot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Have you ever seen
so American?
Have you ever seen Porco Rosso, which is
No.
one of the Miyazaki films about airplanes? I can't believe you've never seen that.
Sounds like a
Randy, I'm
Ferrari color.
gotta have an airplane.
Airplane reference. Here comes. Watch out, audience.
It's a movie about 20s air pirates by Miyazaki, who's like, Miyazaki's one of the, I think a lot of people would say the greatest, maker of animated films. And the American dubbed version is Michael Keaton is the main character, and the villain is Cary Elwes playing a cranky American movie star. Anyway, he's great. I love him, and he is Iceman in this movie.
Nice. Yes, he is. Russ Wheeler is brought in.
The names
with
in
the
general
blonde
in
hair.
this are incredible.
They're
Rowdy Burns,
incredibly well
Cole
done.
Trickle, Russ Wheeler.
Then Nicole Kidman finds all the flowers in her
Which
room,
is full creep mode.
which is
like
very
that's when you
creep mode.
run.
Big gas,
Yeah.
big gas. And then
Did not age well.
didn't well then that leads to then Cole Trickle gets lucky that night, and that's the scene that until recently I guess Randy had never seen. Or
The drafting scene?
The drafting scene, which I specifically, honestly, I have memory of. That's when I learned about the concept of drafting as a kid.
That is also how I learned about
Wow,
drafting.
that is
13-year-old.
formative. That is very formative for you, Beck. With sweet and low packets.
Sweet and low packets on the thigh.
It's a really good explanation of drafting.
It is.
Actually a really
It's actually
good
the most
explanation.
technical
Yes.
part of racing
It's
in
the
this
best
movie.
part of the movie. Yeah, it's the most
I agree.
accurate part of the film.
I actually agree. It is also how I learned about drafting, and I never knew about it before. And it is really good. And it's reminiscent of a really interesting Jackie Stewart documentary made by Roman Polanski. Speaking of canceled
With
things.
butter packets.
Yes, with butter pack, where he's in his underwear in Monte Carlo explaining.
yes.
Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I
That's
have.
incredible. He's explaining apexing
Mhm.
in a very similar way. I wonder if it was actually inspired by that, because the way he makes a complicated idea simple it's also good. This is written by Robert Towne. It could just be excellent writing, like so many of these other things. But anyway, love that scene.
Then after that, when they're leaving, I forget where they're going to, but that's when they are in the 91 Caprice, the two of them, which notably is a pre-production car, because that is first year
brand new.
Caprice was brand new.
Wait, the white one, the cab?
The one where he slams into the cab.
Yeah.
Oh,
That one, yes.
This is second big red flag, flowers, and then he chases that guy, and she's like, "I'm going to get out."
I love how they found a lot of like garage and driveway transitions to slam
Great
OEM cars into and pull wheels off the ground. It was like very A-Team-esque.
But the driving is
like
good.
Slam bottom out the car and have it go 3-wheel motion, just like flying with hubcaps and all the stuff. And I was like, wow. They're really trying.
It's also such a good era for like soft suspension and like little wheels or like
huge sidewall, right?
You could totally do
you
that.
can't even do that in like your Honda, right? I mean, there's no way you're going to get like wheel lift unless you.
My Honda probably pulls more G's than those NASCARs did, on a super speedway. We're in such a different era.
But like racing a stock Taurus from 90.
Yes. I had forgotten how much this movie's about like anxiety and trauma. By the end, Rowdy and Cole are just like husks of men, and they're ready to snap at a moment's notice, and like they're living their traumas in this movie.
It can get dark if you let it.
Yes.
So don't let it. Just enjoy the movie. Enjoy the race.
That's like Top Gun, right? I mean, they get into the head of the driver, and the driver's dying.
Rowdy having to give up his car.
Totally.
To try and encourage Cole Trickle to go back into racing, right? Because Cole doesn't want to race either. He's lost his car because he blows the motor, right, in a race. He's so uncomfortable, doesn't want to be there.
Telltale. That's how I learned about Telltales, too. I'd never known about that before either.
And what's the line? Like, I'm more scared of being nothing than dying.
Well, Nicole Kidman in that Caprice scene, that's actually like the most real part of the movie. She's like, you're all children and you're so scared and you're not an adult and you need to like get a life. You make me sound like a doctor. I'm pissed at you. It's really good, actually.
This is Charlie at the bar
100%.
with the lecture, right?
You're not going to be happy unless you're going Mach 2 with your hair on fire.
And also same kind of thing where in Top Gun, like Maverick is not engaging the enemy while his men are like in combat. And it's like, no, dude, this is not the time, like, to worry about your brain. Like, you got to get in this thing. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, he does that.
If you think you're dead out there on the super speedway.
If you think you're dead, that's all right.
But Rowdy gives him his car, but he says he needs
that
car to
scene
run.
is dark too when he tells him he's like popping the pills and the baby is crying. That really triggered me as a father. Like that's like
for sure.
When they goes into Rowdy's house and Rowdy's like melting down. He's like, "What'd you win that trophy for?" He's like, "Doesn't it say?" He's like, "Yeah, Winston Cup. Easy to forget that, buddy."
Yeah,
like crazy. It's like pretty dark.
Here's a guy who's got 3 very young kids, and he's out of work essentially.
Yes,
yeah, and they're building a house.
He's got to build his $10 million house.
That's right. I love that scene through the boat. I mean, I had never watched it with closed captioning either, and I'd missed a lot of the lines. And there's one point in that scene where he says something like, "I've got a lot of dreams that aren't paid for yet," when he's trying to get Cole to drive his car for him.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And so the boat in that scene was Rick Hendrick's
Scarab.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick Hendrick's boat.
And it was his boat. And there was supposed to be, Tom Cruise spent a lot of time at Rick Hendrick's lake house on Normal Lake in North Carolina. But the scene was actually filmed on Lake Wylie, also in North Carolina. So they were trying to make it like Rick Hendrick's real life.
Hell yes, Brandy compound.
I saw it out there. It was like floating out at the dock. And I was like, what is this?
So
what are they going to do with this? And then they end up on it.
Speaking of Doppler effect, that maybe is one of the best when it, past the camera with the kind of, it's like dusk in the back.
It's always
so
smoky dusk, right? That's what,
which is a Tony Scott deal. Like if you watch his other movies, they're always like that.
Always
Top Gun is like that too. Yes,
yellow skies, right?
But Rowdy needs him to remove the car because he wants his livery out there. Right? He needs his sponsor to be seen. Inexplicably, then the sponsor then changes to mellow yellow for some reason, which kind of negates the whole issue. However, my favorite part of the mellow yellow is there's a shot of when the car is revealed for Cole. And he's walking up to it. And I think it's the only time in the movie where you see from his vantage point, he's walking up to the mellow yellow car. And it's shot almost like handheld. And it's just such a amazingly exciting moment of revealing the mellow yellow for the first time. I thought it was just a kind of out of the box for this movie, which had usually been so much more high tension. And now here was a handheld shot of like walking towards the car.
And he makes that joke about, oh, they barely paid us enough to paint the name on the car. Totally. That was great. That was so great. Totally. But like, got yourself a sponsor. Yeah.
He needs to build his house, but it barely.
But he can barely paint the logo.
But before that race, the engine in the car goes bad. It's like leaking oil. There's a little Robert Duvall moment pre-race where he complains that the car is doing something nasty and it's leaking something. So he gets a new engine. We don't really know where he gets it just yet. Obviously, it turns out to be City Chevrolet, team owner. But then to get it back into the race, they do all the pre-race interviews. And that's where we start seeing race car drivers again and a cameo from Don Simpson.
Oh, where is he? Oh, is he the cameraman?
He's one of the drivers in the pre-Daytona interviews.
Oh, I didn't know that. There's a couple of real drivers and a couple of fake drivers. They do a pretty good job with
that. They end with Russ Wheeler saying that he's like a menace on the track. But that's after building credibility by having a couple of real drivers.
Yes, exactly. He sort of like folded into it a little bit. I thought the script and lingo was great as they were talking about their concerns about how Cole is going to do when he comes back and how you can never really come back the same. It was really great.
A lot of scary race car driver stuff in it. I love it. And then it ends with, as you pointed out, Randy, the amazing freeze frame. And that's like a callback joke. I'm going to race your ass. He's like always wanting to race him.
Well, hold on. Going back a little bit before that, it's in the race going from last to first.
Oh, yes. Stuck in fourth gear
in 15 laps. He's able to go from last to first. But possibly the best one is when the transmission's broken and he has to reverse into pit lane. Yes. I thought it was hilarious.
I actually love the mechanic under the car, floor jacks, and just jam it into high. Get it in high. Give me the high. I've got him high, and he gets right out in front of the pace car. And then
and they have to push it because he's
both teams have
with that much power, it's like just not enough to get him going in high gear.
But there are famous examples of that where Schumi won a race stuck in fifth gear or something like that. Yeah, there's like some examples of people doing that if you keep the momentum up. And they do say like you've got to get up to full speed by the time the pace lap ends so that you're cooking when everyone else is just starting to accelerate. Yeah, it's great.
But that freeze frame ending, you're right, is a phenomenal moment.
And Cruise gets his running in. Cruise can never be in a movie without running, and you get a Cruise running scene. But Duvall's kind of cooking too.
Duvall is totally cooking, moving, which makes me so happy.
I have a couple questions for you guys to close it all out. So we talked about all the liveries. What's your favorite? Snickers is mine. That's going to be my vote. Which one stuck out to you?
There was a lot of press for the Hardee's one. That doesn't do much for me.
My wife told me Hardee's, which I think of as being Carl's Jr. now. She said it used to be like a chicken place. And then when Carl's Jr. bought it, it turned into Carl's Jr.
It's basically. Carl's Jr., yeah.
Yes, that's what it is now.
I've always kind of liked the City Chevrolet. The green and the yellow was, I think, is
part of the reason I love City Chevrolet is all the shirts and hats and jackets that go along with it. Plus,
that's true.
The idea of privateer teams in general, which is like kind of not aged that well. Nobody can run privateer teams anymore.
That Exxon car is good.
I think the Superflow is pretty great.
I think Exxon was rowdy, wasn't it?
Of these, I'm mellow yellow. No problem. But I mean, of NASCAR, of the era, the livery is STP, Exxon, Kodiak, Quaker State, Bud, Kodak. I mean,
the Bud is so
pick
good
which
too.
one you want. Bud is amazing.
The Bud,
I'm a big Quaker State.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I really love that.
The Bud flame suit is because that's what it's just red, white, and just says Bud.
King of beers under it, right?
Did you ever go to Quaker Steak, the restaurant chain?
It's so good. Quaker State?
Quaker Steak. It's a restaurant.
Quaker Steak?
It's like a restaurant micro chain. No, it's it's different, but it's modeled. It's the same. They use that logo.
Really?
It's all race cars and oil inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder. Wow. I want
Quaker Steak and Lube. Quaker Steak and Lube is what this restaurant is called. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
Is this your Wisconsin days?
It was another shout out to our friend Jack Peterson. Him and I used to go to Quaker Steak and Lube whenever I was in town.
Amazing.
That's ridiculous.
And it was a total NASCAR themed restaurant.
I'll go there.
Favorite quotes? I had forgotten how many quotes from this stick with me. Tires, like, it's what wins a race. Like, that one has stuck with me a lot. Hit the pace car, I think a lot. I'd forgotten about that.
One's
I want you to be perfect. You've hit everything else.
Supposedly a real legend is right. Like, it was actually said, like, you've hit everything else. Why don't you hit the pace car? That was a great moment. I enjoyed that.
I do too. There's that great scene also kind of akin to that when he pulls in, Cole's struggling, and John C. Reilly is like, oh, look, a side we don't have to fix. And Duvall kicks it. And he said, I don't want you spoiled.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Another good one, I'm dropping the hammer.
100%.
That's a great one.
100%.
Yeah, like why was he in third gear? going around the track. It's like, that's useless.
I remembered there being more pointless downshifting than there was. It's not as bad as Fast and Furious.
No, not at all.
And one of the big downshifts is when he intentionally blows the motor. He goes into third.
Telltale, any movie script that includes a telltale reference, which Duvall does, he says, I went over there.
9,400 RPM.
Telltale. I was like, yes, you do.
Yeah,
you blow the sum.
Give me odometer. Give me all the odometer.
And it shows him doing it. All that stuff is like pretty good, honestly.
Now, I'm sort of naive in this space. Is that a feature on those?
Yeah, it's a little
That's a telltale tack, man.
That's amazing.
Odometer.
Yep.
What was it? 7-inch or 5-inch?
It's a huge one on that. That's exactly what we had in my Pro 7
Pro
race car.
Comp. I always had the sport comp model, but if you paid up for the Pro Comp, you got a telltale.
Yep.
And you'd have to be revving to
but you could see what you could see where
how high did
max
it go?
RPM was.
Max RPM.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So good.
There's another line that's probably going to have to get cut by Chris here, only because there's some language involved, but I think it's a great one. I think that Duvall says is, we look like a monkey bucking a football.
that was
like, is that an expression?
that was the owner. Yeah, that was the
there it is. Yes.
Dude, it was Quaid.
Quaid.
No, that was Quaid. Yes.
He probably ad-libbed that line because he uses that around the dinner table.
I use that all the time.
All the time. This is like classic time.
You see Darryl Waltrip out there using up his tires? Another one that I think was so great. And then, the whole thing when he shows the two tires after the thing, it's great.
Yes.
This one is a little bit Southern, but the line I actually think about the most is they're talking about whether skill or experience matter. And Duvall points to his dog and he's like, you see that dog there? That's the best damn coon hound I've ever seen. And I didn't teach him a damn thing. I think about that all the time because that's like a life lesson, right? Is somebody born with a skill or can you?
Did you catch my reference to that earlier?
No.
When I complimented your podcast.
That's right. Up top.
Back.
About the coonhound.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Didn't teach him a damn thing.
I think one of my big takeaways was a $2,500 track rental.
Dude, I have that on my list.
Can we
for an oval track.
Make that happen? Yeah. Was that Charlotte Motor Speedway?
And he's mad. He's like, I had to pay $2,500 to rent this track.
Each one of those tires has got to be $2,500 today.
All right, here's a question. Here's a nit to pick. Rowdy was already out there running, so who paid for it? Seems like Rowdy was already out there testing, but City Chevrolet paid for the track. Day. Isn't that's not the same
opening
day?
scene? He's Rowdy is starting already on the track, and he pulls into the pit and he says, "Don't crash my car." When Cole gets in, you can imagine maybe that was for an allotted time.
Yeah, part of
the
day.
That was going to be City Chevrolet was going to be next in line on that.
Another one of my secret favorite quotes: "Buy me lunch out at the Highway Roadhouse." That's what he wants as his reward. Duvall. There's actually great bars. Places like that don't exist anymore. Where Cole says
they definitely
totally do.
I think they do, man. Not around here.
Well, they're not filled with cigarette smoke or anything anymore. Probably not even in the South, unfortunately. Maybe if you go to deep Louisiana or Mississippi or something.
Yeah.
Oh, best race? What's the best race? My favorite is the rental car race, but what's your guys' favorite race?
Oh, man, we got to think about this one.
Honestly, they run together for me. I have trouble picking apart.
They run together.
They list them. I really love how they show the track and they list which real track it is, right? It's not phony.
I mean, can I pick the montage? The montage of him just
learning, the montage of him learning how to getting better is so good.
Yeah, of him,
and I love that
improving. It's perfect song for that scene, and he doesn't win any of the races during that song, but it's just such a great, it grabs you into the spirit of what, you're in for a great film.
This is gonna hurt. That's when he slams into the pit wall.
That's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
That team would be out there.
That team would come back next Sunday.
Huge wreck.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy?
He was not slow.
He was going fast.
People are jumping out of the way.
And he's not going 50 miles an hour.
Right pit wall.
Right?
Totally.
I want to watch that again. That's an amazing moment because you're like, your body as a watcher of the movie tenses up because you're like, here it comes.
Yes.
Wham.
It's harder than you expect.
Yeah.
I've seen the movie so many times.
Yeah. And wait, what happens? Don't they fix the car and he goes out? No, they
he goes, did you see that guy? And Duvall's like, yeah. And then they cut to the next part.
Okay.
It's part of the montage. So it just sort of cuts away.
That montage, that whole, very good. You're right, Tyler. That's exactly the right call. Best races, that whole sequence of races.
Yeah. It's just such a beautiful thing to watch. One of the other parts too is I think there was a couple situations where actually there's two spin outs. One was he spun out, was able to shift gears, get right back.
Great driver, Cole. Yeah.
And continued on the super speedway. And there was the other race where he ended up wrecking Russ Wheeler after the race.
Change my tires.
But
Why?
he needed
Why
to
call
say-
it?
so he
Spears
could-
him.
Yes.
He spears him on the cooldown lap, on the checkered flag lap.
Yes.
So the tires were trash then.
Russ
need that for what we were
knocks him
doing.
out of the race. He comes in. He tells
The race is
Johnson,
over.
check, change my tires. He's like,
Yeah.
the race is over. He's like, change my tires. And then he like,
So good.
he
And
wrecked
that's,
both my cars.
Again, I heard or I read after a real thing that happened
that
between
happened in real life.
Bernhard and another dude, and they were coming around with a checker, and somebody just went out and just tagged.
Rick. I mean, you'd be done. You'd be out of the sport.
I thought that
France
happened
would
even
not
more
be
recently
thrilled.
too.
Would not be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tear your race car down. Yeah,
That's like a Tony Stewart level.
totally.
deal.
Throwing a helmet.
You know what I
all that.
mean? No, just like
Sure.
spearing another car
Somebody-
after the race is over.
I can't remember who it was. Somebody said that one of the scenes was inspired by some other scene where maybe this is the story you're talking about. I think it was Earnhardt and somebody having friction, and he walked over to the other guy's car in the pits and drew an X over it, like I'm going to take this car out.
Wow.
Like total like threatening
It'd be bad if
behavior.
there's a montage out there somewhere of all the dust ups in NASCAR, because there's maybe more. I don't know about other series, but it's got to be one of the series with the most gnarly.
That was Jeff Bodine again.
Bodine.
Bodine. He's like pretty successful. He's got a really impressive career. All right, last couple questions for you guys. I mean, I think this is definitely in the car movie canon. Is this one of the best car racing movies of all time, in your opinion?
Yes, for me. I think it's
Is this your favorite?
I mean, granted, it's a different era, but we just talked about what Grand Prix, or those ones are more like thinking
Yep.
and like there's a like sophisticated racers that you sit around and you ponder whether this is a good choice in life or not or whatever. And in Days of Thunder, it's just like smashing into the wall.
racing's supposed to be fun.
I think you could show this to somebody who's not into NASCAR and it would make them
People
interested in it.
laughing, people
Yes.
pranking each other,
Dude,
right? Like
when
people drinking at the races. Like it's a good time.
And great shots of crowds in this when they first come in to see Cole after his accident and John C. Reilly walks in with blind glasses and he's like tapping. I'm like, oh man, that's how car guys F with each other. And they're all scared of the doctor, kind of
Yes,
like it's
right.
all that rings kind of true.
It
Yeah.
doesn't take itself seriously
Yes.
at all, which is a great one because I'm trying to think of the other racing films that I've really enjoyed, and like obviously Ford versus Ferrari or Rush. Those ones, they kind of hold themselves as being so important, and this absolute opposite.
Yes.
And it makes it very enjoyable and very rewatchable.
Yes.
You could easily just drop back in.
Like Randy, a whole lifetime of
I've
jumping
seen it,
in.
man. I've seen so many scenes so many times, but yeah, there was new stuff. There was new stuff to watch it all the way through.
It's up there for me. You guys listed a lot of the kind of big ones. I mean, F1 just came out. Ford versus Ferrari is great. Rush is great. Le Mans is maybe not a great movie, but I love it. But this is so much more fun than
Mhm.
all of them. This might be the most
Probably the most
fun
fun, to be honest.
racing movie. Totally. And again, like Top Gun, it's got the spirit of car guys and like airplane guys, messing with each other. And it's just, yeah.
And like Top Gun, they eventually came out, however many decades later with a sequel. And from what I'd read, sounds like Tom Cruise wants to do a sequel. to this
Days
as
of Thunder.
well.
Yes. Do you hear that?
Might
There's
as
Days
well.
of Thunder
Get
sequel.
out of here.
There's talk of it as of
And you know he'll
2024.
want to be in the car.
Yeah. Oh, more so. And then much like with Top Gun, he'll
Oh,
probably be
no.
more real. and
Totally.
probably more
Well, the
aggressive.
parallel, so they make Top Gun, and that also has super realistic, amazing shots of flying where they made the guys get in F-14s, and then the same crew comes and makes this, and it's super realistic looking. And then similarly, in the modern era, Top Gun 2, which is amazing, that same team made Formula One, right? So like you have a success and you use a lot of the same techniques of putting people in the vehicles, having it be super real. And so I hope, is it Kaczynski, whoever made those
Right.
movies? I'm ready.
Wow.
I'm ready for
wonder
Days of
what
Thunder
that
2.
I forgot about Rush though, Beck.
Mhm.
That was a good movie.
Great.
That was a good race movie.
I wrote down all the similarities with Top Gun. One other quick one other than Cary Elwes is Iceman with the blonde crew cut and guitar solo when winning the 500, just like when they're shooting down the last of the MiGs, wow, 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 wow. They've got all that stuff. But the style my wife pointed out in this is also kind of timeless, like jeans, white t-shirts, leather jackets. You could wear a lot of the same like clothes today. And it's Top Gun has the same thing. You could wear the same outfit, bomber jacket and jeans. Works in 1985, works in 2025.
Plus, throw yourself on a Harley.
Oh,
and
yes.
have
We need the
smoke
motorcycle very
and
quickly.
Yes.
When Rowdy Burns sits down menacingly, like Cole Trickle's getting in the
So
race car, and he
good.
sits on his Harley.
Well, that's the other thing. Like every single thing like that in this movie was done. Like,
Little
every
details.
detail about how people relate to one another.
Michael Rooker as Rowdy Burns is fantastic.
So
Him and
good.
Duvall were the big
So good.
takeaways. Yeah.
So the bike, it looks to me, there's not a great.
Heck yes.
Yeah. See, the best I can say on that is it's a Heritage Softail, obviously 89, 90, but it almost looks like they made it look like a 50s Harley Panhead. It's got a different
It's got
badge.
white walls on it.
Yeah, white walls. It's got the badge on the gas tank. It's got a couple other little, the seat actually in the original, it has, or the first time we see the bike without Nicole Kidman riding on the back, it's got a solo saddle on it. And then when Nicole Kidman's riding, it's got like a passenger pillion for her. But yeah, it's a nicely customized Harley. I was kind of excited. I never actually paused it until this time, because I'm like, I know I'm going to get asked about it.
We need the bike expert. I'm glad we got the boat in though too. That's really good. That would be a twin engine boat, right? The Hendrick
At least.
Maybe three.
At least.
Maybe 3 engines.
It's hard to
NASCAR engines, high revving.
It's hard to say.
He's making them anyways.
Just one big single.
I ate lunch with Rick Hendrick once.
What? You're going to reveal this an hour and 10 minutes in?
I'm going to say
That's
now
part-
this gets revealed?
That's part of why I'm so upset about Randy Quaid playing
Oh,
him.
because you're like just wrong.
Because he was just like a gentleman and smile and friendly and normal, and you like looked up to him, right? And so Randy Quaid's a kook. But Hendrick owns a zillion dealers, and he came west, and I was a new guy at BMW, and he just bought a BMW dealer in Pleasanton, California. And he showed up. He shows up in a suit, tie, totally put together. I had to put a suit on to join the meeting. Anyway, got to sit next to him and chat. But anyway, he's built an empire and done a bunch of things right, and huge name in NASCAR and super cool dude.
Did he tell anecdotes? Did you grill him? What was that like?
No, I was like either instructed or just too nervous or to like shut my mouth a little bit, right? And like not to get too deep into NASCAR, but no, I asked him a couple questions and got a few minutes to chat about different sorts of stuff. He wanted to talk about BMW and the dealer and what I'm doing and whatever else. But anyway, nice. I have a photo of it.
Amazing.
Yep.
Wow. Good drop right at the end, Randy. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you guys enjoy it? Was it a good
Absolutely.
one? We've been promising this one for a while. I love this movie. I actually love it more now than I did before, I think.
I would recommend it to like non-racing fans. It's
Non-car
probably-
people, I think, even,
Yeah,
right?
as like honestly, probably the first racing movie you should watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
This and
First
Talladega Nights.
racing movie you
What's-
should watch. Wait a minute. Hold on. I gotta let that sink in.
As opposed to like jumping into something more technical or where they keep themselves so serious about it. Like as far as if you're not into racing, I feel like this is a good one.
I think Rush and Ford versus Ferrari are also good for that. You cannot recommend Grand
Mans,
Prix
Grand
or
Prix, yeah.
Le Mans. No way. No
You gotta
way.
recommend it, but it's like a weird.
I can't get
It's a
car people to
documentary.
sit through Le Mans.
What was the Sly Stallone F1 movie?
No, that's
Indy,
cart.
very indie
That's
car.
cart. It's cart.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
driven.
Driven
Yeah.
Yes. He picks up the quarters with his rear
That's
tires. Yeah.
and sends manhole covers when he takes the car. on
When
the
we get
street.
to about episode 50 of the BAT at the movies, like we're gonna do Driven. I did scout it. I rewatched it, and
good
it's
movie.
pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Fun movie.
I saw Driven with my godfather, the same guy who was so pissed at the documentary of this movie. And we walked out of Driven in movie theater and he said, well, that was a piece of crap.
So I promise if you watch it, you'd have fun. It's not a very good movie, but it's fun. It's fun. Awesome, guys. This was a real treat. We've been looking forward to doing this for a while. Do you have votes on what we should do next? American Graffiti is very high on
That's
the
got a
list
lot of
for
votes.
me.
I think
Office.
that's probably next.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good.
I'll
No,
go
good,
too.
good.
Some Cali culture.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Petaluma posing as Stockton, or where was he?
That's supposed to be
Yeah, I
Central
think
Valley.
Central Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys for doing this. This was really a pleasure.
Thank you, Alex.
Let's go to a NASCAR race.
I mean, let's go right now.
Yeah, I will see you infantile egomaniacs on the next one.
In and out.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Dr. Nicole.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Bruckheimer and Simpson. Thanks, as always, for listening, everybody. Please do not hesitate to send feedback to podcast@bringatrailer.com, including suggestions for movies that you would like to see us talk about in future episodes. We will catch you next time.